Hello everybody, this is Paco on Art and we're doing the second video on rigging. So we have done the preparation, we have done a few scripts installation, we've also put some buttons and shortcuts in order to get something zazzy and ready up. And we have done a few layers and we've also done a little bit of renaming. Essentially, getting our file ready to commence. Now, in order to get this started, what we're gonna do is we are going to place bones that go around to a chain. But before I even commence, I want to have a little bit of a theory on bones and bone placement and when it comes to bone orientation. So let's open Leo for that. So if we've got, say, bones, let's say that we grabbed this guy here as a concept. So if I go in here now and I put this, let's make this a little bit more transparent. You know, it's too easy to see. All right, cool. We got this. So let's say that we got a chain of bone. So essentially, when it comes to bone, it is essentially as the theory of a bone. Say that this is a bone, right? It is essentially just a means to know the influence on how the vertices of the mesh needs to be moving. So say, for example, if we have a bone here, right, which is essentially the middle of this area here of the shoulder, then you're gonna be moving all of these yellow, like all of these vertices together, like the closer they are to that area as a hot area, then the things are going to be moving alongside with that, right? Then you might have another one here. This is your elbow, and then another one here. So let's say this is where your wrist is being cut there. So let's pretend that there's an area around there. So this is going to be another bone there, right? So that's connecting here, that's connecting there, right? And that would be starting from here, because this is a full 360 rotation from your shoulders. So your shoulders there, it's gonna move all across the board, right? But then the elbow, and I might use the full screen here for a second, the elbow is going to only rotate from this point here. I cannot twist that, and the reason why it gives the sensation that we can't twist it is because of the wrist here. But that's essentially is a chain of bones. So if we look this from that chain that is being cut from there, like so, let's say that we look at the bones from at the top, like here, and say this is the shoulder, elbow, and wrist, and we got those connected here, and then we got this connected there, like so. This is only going to be rotated in one axis, so I'm just gonna paint that green around there, and it's only going to rotate to that given axis, right? Whereas this one here is gonna rotate to all axes. So this is what I like to call a chain of bones, because they are rotating within that plane. So imagine if this is a magical plane. Let's make this a lot more saturated. Say that the bone is like here. Then you have a magical plane that rotates bones on that axis, because the bones cannot break around there. Another chain of bones, say that we go now and we zoom in on the hand, it will be for each of those fingers, right? Where if you look at the fingers, they only rotate in that specific plane as well. Imagine each finger has got a magical plane behind there, and that's only rotating this way as well with each of the bones. Where's another chain? Around the leg here. So imagine this part here. Let's not go back. Let's say here, for example. By the way, this is what I meant with the fingers there earlier. We got this plane there cutting over there, and that's like a plane that's being cut on that plane. Here for the leg as well, let's say that we got this. And the reason why I'm drawing a circle is so you can understand if that was cut there with geometry. So you got the ankle, for example, here as well, around there. this will be another chain as well. So if we go in here, put a little dot there in the middle of that pieces, and like the bones in a real human being, they're going to be not exactly in the middle of the mass, but when it comes to rigging, it has to be in the middle of the mass, so everything deforms together as muscles and tendons and everything as a volume. And then you can fix that a little bit later with some blending, right? And it's not called blending, it's called something else. But then that's another plane here, right? And so I'm going to use a technique where we're going to create some of these planes, and we're going to put those dots on those planes, so then things rotate the right way. So if this bone went all the way across this way and then connected here, it should cut into itself and the bone should collide into there. So that's one chain. That's another chain. And we got the back here, we got the spine. So let's say that this is now the torso going around like so. You're gonna have the center of gravity is where your belt is. So let's make that yellow for the center of gravity around yay. And this is where now this point here it starts, and it goes down here for the hips. Then it goes out here. And then you got the spine goes. You can get away with 3 pieces of spine. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 or something like that. Around this volume here, this is the part of your ribs, kind of a thing, around there. So if you touch yourself there, so that's kind of where the ribs are. That can be solid, so you can go like completely full with that there, and then have 1, 2, 3 spines around there, kind of a thing. Around here, 1, 2, 3. This is like a whole volume. Then this is the area here that splits into 3 parts. We go 1, 2, 3. It splits like a little thing. And then this is where you got the clavicle. This is where the arms actually do start to move. This is the real position of your arms. So if you feel this bone here, and this is where I'm going to become a little bit expose, you feel that collarbone there. If you go like this and you shrug, you can feel this part move around here. And this is where the arm actually starts. Your arm starts from here, but it's like inside of your torso kind of a thing. But if you go like this, you can see how I'm pushing back and forward. And that's moving together with my clavicle, but also in the back here with my shoulder blade. All those 2 pieces are very functional. Like you can move back and you can move forward quite easily. So it really starts from here. So this is like another mini chain that happens with the bones. And then here I like to like connect it down here. This is where you got your shoulders, and then it goes down, right? Following this chain here with the back, this is where it goes around here, and this is where you can have 1 here, another one there, maybe like 2 or 3. And this is where you got with your neck. And then this is where you got the different parts of the face or whatever connecting to those bones over there. So for this video, we're just gonna focus just for this area around here. Then the next video we can go like and do this guys here, maybe for example. And then after that, maybe we can do the legs. So we can do it in like 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 parts or something like that. Cool. Because this is now already 80 minutes, 9. So let's commence. So let's do the side. Always do this in orthographic. Let's go. Side view. And this is where sometimes, in order for me not to get too confused, I like to hide some things. So let's go here. Oh, I don't like the green at all, man. Cool. So let's go in here and just delete some of these guys. Actually, let's do it this way because I'm lazy right now. Let's go. That's all. Cool. 1 and 2. Hide those guys. And we can put them back in a second. And this is so we can see on the side there a little bit better how we're cutting that through. Because we're doing this in the side perspective, the points that we're going to put for the skeleton is going to stay in place. This is where the hip is, the belt. So I'm going to start around there in the middle. I'm going to go create bones. And this is where you can go click, 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 and it will do essentially a chain of bones, right? I'm gonna start from here. If you can't see the bone, this is where you click this button here, which is the X-ray joints. And now, whenever you place a bone, try to stay in the middle of your geometry and make some rules. So I'm gonna say cool. So I'm gonna say maybe every 4, right? So then you can have 50%, 1, 2, 3, 4, 50% there, kind of a thing. Maybe another one like around yay. And this is where now we can go straight. This is now the ribs, so we can go straight to here to around the neck, like boom. It's gonna look very immediate. So let's say like there. And then we can have another one around maybe here. And then we can have another one. So we can have neck 1, neck 2, and then we can have head. The head is a very strange one. It should be like, if you feel your jaw, and then you can see, you can feel just underneath your ears. It has to be like kind of just underneath your ears, right? So around yay. So if we look at anatomy bones, anatomy bones, head, neck, side. Hopefully we get the right video. And hopefully there is one that shows with the overlay there. So your ears around, your nose around there, your ears around there. Look where that bone is. It's like, it's a little bit further into the head, right? So if you can see here, it's around yay. And whenever it comes to placing bones, it's a very weird one. It's a culmination and a combination of both kind of knowing where the bones are, like the real bones, but also breaking the rules because you are moving the mass of the combination of all things. You're not just moving bones, you're also moving like the mass of things. So when I've placed these bones here of the spine, I kind of did it in the middle of the volume, which is really annoying. So I'm just gonna place that one around yay for the head. Kind of trying to like fix the geometry of those guys there. And next I'm gonna do here. Oh no. I was meant to do one more for the end. And this is only for demonstrations and for to see around there. So I'm just gonna put this guy here. Cool. So we got all those bones. This is now the part where we start and renaming things a little bit. So here now, you see how the bones are like all different sizes. Depending on how far away from each other they are, they're going to change the sizes. You can change that in 2 ways. If we double click on this tool in here, in the tool settings, you're going to see in here now that you can change this to not have any variable bone radius settings. So if you take that out, you're not going to be able to change the bone sizes as well. The next thing that you can also do is like select all these bones and then go, sorry, the whistling must be really annoying. Oh, where am I? No, we also need that button though. Animation and then joint size. So if you click on that, you can say everything to just have a particular size. You can do 1 or you can do 2 or whatever. I think it's doing this for all of them. So if we go in here instead and just type radius to like 1, it's going to change everything to that size, right? I prefer to do everything semi-big, so like 1 or something like that. But then as soon as I get to the fingers, I'll make the fingers really thin because we want that to be very accurate, right? So something like that is good, okay? And we're going to change some of the names. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go front view, create one that's down here for the pelvis. So I'm going to go left side, create one that's like, let's go in the X-ray mode. Let's go like more or less in the middle here. Cool. And I like to maybe rotate that slightly. And this is where it goes children. and this one. So this is going to go out this way. This one here, we're going to call this the COG. So the COG stands for center of gravity. So I'm going to go Nick, center of gravity, and then GNT. And that's more or less what we're going to do with a lot of these. This fella here, we're going to copy that, go. Instead of CNT, we're going to call this hips. Then we're going to go one by one. So this is like spine 1, Nick. Spine underscore center underscore 01 underscore JNT for joint. I'm going to make sure that I maintain that consistency. Consistency is the most important thing with all of these things. So if I got C, I know straight away that's the center. And here with hips, I'm just going to keep this lowercase to keep in consistency with the other one. And I'm going to do also underscore C. You know what? I'm going to do that in the beginning because I'm complicated. Now, you see how I'm doing this and I'm going up and down? You can use the arrows to go up and down like so. But you can also like use left or right to go between groups. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go press enter. Oh, that's a bit lame. I thought that you could change this by pressing enter. I was able to do that before. All right, fine. Cool. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go here, press enter. Now it works. Of course, it did not work before. Copy this, paste here, call this number 2. And then I'm gonna go here, call this number 3. And this is where I go, oh, this is the neck. Nicky in the neck. Did I just say Nicky in the neck? I'm crazy. All right, cool. Neck 1. This is gonna be neck. Nick in the neck. Number 2. Names is so much fun. I did this already today with my learners. And this is where I'm going to throw a learner under the bus. The learner was like, oh, I'm going to be 1 hour late. I'm like, great. I'll put a video and wait for you. And then he was like, I'm leaving now. 2 hours late. I'm like, okay, cool. This is the hardest lesson, but sure. And then he was like, oh, no, but I was really hoping for you to have this video because I forgot to record the video. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I guess he's going to watch this later. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm doing this for no reason. So Nick underscore C underscore head. Now, this is my time to explain something. You're going to have joints everywhere. But if a joint does not have an influence or is not going to do anything, it's a good idea to call them end. This guy here, it's only there for a means to show that things are rotating. Because if I rotate this, like so, you're not going to know that that's rotating very easily unless there's something to show. But do you think there's going to be any vertices at all for that point? No. There's not going to be anything there. It's going to be completely empty, right? So that's an end. The one bone that will not have ends will be in the eyes, because the eyes will have an influence with those balls, right? So if I go, actually, I'm going to create 2 bones in the eyes already. So if I go make a new joint, so if I go create a joint into space, so just go joints, holding down X for X-Men. Now I've got that guy there with that rotation or whatever. If I select this, you teleport to this eye. And I go match pivot points. And this is where you go inside of here, modify match transforms. Now you can see that pivot point, it is also like teleporting to the eye. And you can check that this has got the same pivot point here as this here. If I switch between here to there, it's barely changing at all. but it's not changing at all. And if it changes, then it's a problem, right? And so in the end, this is one influence. So if I change this to make it a little bit smaller, like so, right? We can duplicate this one more time and go you teleport to here. Okay, so now we got those two exactly, or those pivot points. And this is where now, if I say later, I can say, cool, you make the influence of this to 100% inside of the rigging skin. Bind skin, the options does not matter because it's 100% to that bone. If I rotate this bone here, now that is influenced to that bone. So that has influence to 100%. Same goes with this guy here. I go here, select this one here, and then I go skin, bind skin. That's again influence to 100% to all the vertices to just that one bone, right? But then if I select these two children, select one child, and then the head here, and I press P for Paco to parent that boy. Now, if I rotate that head, the balls will be moving with that, hello there, I am Mr. Paco Casares. Cool. And so we will move this a little bit proper. I think this is a good end to the video. Here where it says joint 1, joint 2, this needs to be named. So let's go in here. Usually, you know what? Let's deparent this for a second. Let's go Shift P for a second. Because usually when it comes to the head, I like to have... you know what? F it. No, it's fine. I'm just, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to put some names to that. Just going to call C. Right? Right. I. GNT. Copy that. And then paste this one here. Oh my goodness. And now I'm just gonna go select this two children, then the father, press P. Whoa, that's the wrong one. This one here. There we go. Cool. Alright, this is the end of this video. 22 minutes. I think that's heaps. We are gonna do a clavicle next, and then the arm going down. Okay. So to unhide everything, I just did Shift H, and I'll see you next video.